Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey friends, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio as we look at Psalm 104 this week. What a beautiful psalm. We've looked at the Grand Theology, Part 2, here in Psalm 104, verses 2 through 5. He started out by using the same language, basically, as he used in 103, Bless the Lord, O my soul, a call to worship. And then he said, you have done some things. You are very great. You are clothed with honor and majesty. And then we had that Grand Theology 2 through 5, which tells us, answers the question really, why is God so great? Why is he so grand? Why is his honor and glory and majesty wonderful? Well, we find that out. Verses 6, 7, 8, and 9 really go together. Now, I covered verse 6 last time, and we talked about it. But now, verse 6 informs everything that's going to happen here in 7, 8, and 9. That's what we're going to read today, verses 7, 8, and 9 in Psalm 104. So let me read those for you. At thy rebuke they fled. At the voice of thy thunder they hasted away. They go up by the mountains, they go down by the valleys, unto the place which thou hast founded for them. Thou hast set a bound that they may not pass over, that they turn not again to cover the earth. As I said yesterday, what are we talking about here? We're talking about water. You covered it with the deep as with a garment. The waters stood above the mountains. So he has in mind here, I think, this is in my opinion, he has in mind here creation, because remember at creation, the whole world was covered with water, and so the Lord had to divide the dry land from the water. And so we actually look right back into Genesis chapter 1 in the days of creation as God is doing this work. So every time now that you look in verses 7, 8, and 9, and you see the word they, actually you'll find they and them there in 11 and 12 as well, because we're talking about water, and it refers back to the word the waters there in verse 6. So at the rebuke they fled. So we're talking about the water. At the voice of thy thunder they haste away. They go up by the mountains, they go down by the valleys, unto the place which thou hast founded for them. So we're still talking about the water. He has divided the dry land from the water, and then it tells us that you have set a bound that they might not pass over. So there's a boundary now. The Lord has given the waters. They can't go past it. And then we remember Noah's flood, that they turned not again to cover the earth. We know what happened in Noah's flood. The waters did turn again, and they did turn and covered the earth. God had divided the dry land from the sea, and then there was the flood. God caused the flood to destroy men, and now he has set a bound that they might not do that again. So there's not going to be another flood, not another global flood like what we had in Noah's day. There will be local flooding, and it will be horrific. We've seen that happen in our lifetimes. Lots of times the Lord has sent flooding, but it's not global, not like what we had during the time of Noah. So all of this has to do with water. It has to do with God's sovereignty over his creation. It has to do with his power over the elements because he made them. You know, he made the heaven and the earth. He made the earth and all of its dryness. He made the earth and all of its wetness. And so he's able to tell that which he has created what to do. So he rebukes them. They flee. The voice of his thunder causes them to haste away, and they go up by the mountains, down by the valleys, unto the place. So God created a place for this water, for it to be, and he said to them, well, you're not going to go any further than this, because I don't want you to flood the entire world again. Again, that goes back and looks to the time of Noah. Also, before I run out of time, I want you to notice that we're not talking about God now. We're talking to him. You covered the deep at your rebuke, at the voice of your thunder. You founded it for them. You have set a bound that they might not pass over. All of these are being spoken to the Lord. So we talked about the Lord in the grand theology. We're talking to the Lord now in this prayer, actually just praising Him with what He's done. All right, join me again tomorrow. We're going to turn one more time, and this time the writer turns not to the Lord or to talk about Him or to talk to Him, but now turns to the reader and begins to speak. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow as we look at verses 10, 11, and 12 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.